Hope everybody's doing well. Starting off with our game with Duke, I'm proud of the team on how we battled back. Obviously got off to a bad start momentum-wise, giving up a blocked punt. Operation time was good. We need to do a better job formationally, but it was a nice job by Duke in that situation, just stemming their front and putting us in a situation where we had a short edge. So I thought Coach Goebel adjusted as the game went on and did some good things to clean that up. Really impressed just how we played complementary football. We had to overcome ourselves in this game, and not to take anything away from Duke, but when you have 8 penalties for 106 yards in the first half, turn the ball over twice in the first quarter, it's tough. In the second half, we did not have penalties. We just played football. And it's amazing what happens when you don't beat yourself. And those are immature things by a young football team that we got to learn from now. And I think it's great for them to be able to see the difference in the product when they're making the decisions that they're coached to make. They blocked the punt for a touchdown. We matched them. Blocked the punt for a touchdown. We had 3 turnovers. We matched them, 3 turnovers on takeaways on defense. And so our guys responded to the situations they were in. And I think that says a lot about the resiliency of this team. Can't say enough about the guys that stepped in their roles, not just in this game, but throughout the year. We've had a lot of, whether it was a targeting ejection or an injury. In this particular game, Isaac Duffy-Webb performed really well, graded out 91%, had no mistakes, had 2 tackles on 3rd down. Devin Boykin came in, had a pass breakup in the end zone. Bryson Spees continues to play multiple positions on the offensive line. Dylan McMahon played the most he's played this year on the offensive line, and those guys are battling. Are they playing perfect? No, but, we talk about next man up mentality, and I think what I'm most proud of is the next man up is performing like the guy was in front of him in most cases. And that, along with the team rallying around those guys and guys taking advantage of their opportunities. Sometimes you'll have a guy as a backup who may not be playing as much as he wants, and he's not going to prepare the same way. He doesn't have the same intensity in his preparation or in his practice. And we're not doing that. I told the team, I like practice right now because the 1s are competing, the 2s are competing, our scout team is competing, and that's allowing us to have the situations we are on game day where all of a sudden the guy's name's called, and each week it's been a different player that didn't expect to have the reps he got that was ready to play. And so that's been fun as a coach to see. Positives on offense, I think we made some really good contact catches in this game. Devin gave guys a chance, and they made the plays. We were very efficient on 3rd down. When you combine our third and 4th downs together, we were 50%. We were 100% scoring in the red zone. And I thought we played our most physical football in the 4th quarter. I thought there was a lot of straining, a lot of competing on the O-line, tight end, running back group. We were very physical. And I like seeing that. As you know, negatives, turning the ball over 3 times is going to put you in a very difficult situation. Hard to win games doing that. So we have to do a better job with the fundamentals. 2 of the fumbles. Devin had the ball low on the sack fumble. He's got to be able to pull the ball up as a quarterback when you're in traffic and take care of it. And Bam's got to put 2 hands on the football when he's got all those guys hitting him. The 3 penalties on offense were critical penalties. All 3 of them were 3rd down or 4th down plays that would have been 1st downs that we then had to redo the 3rd down and had to punt. And so all 3 were drive stoppers. Obviously, the injury to Devin is tough for him and us. I hate that for a young man that's worked so hard, that was playing so well. The positive news is he'll have a normal, healthy recovery. It's nothing that will haunt him from an injury standpoint, but it'll probably keep him out of the regular season. But we'll see how fast he can heal. I know Bailey and Ben and Ty are excited about their opportunity, and they'll work hard with Coach Beck to be ready to help us win games. And that's what it's all about, maximizing your opportunity and the guys around you helping to the best of their ability. On defense, we held their running backs to 1.2 yards a carry, and that was a goal going into the game. We thought their two backs were the strength of their offense. We were really good on third down. We were 75% efficient on third down as a defense. I thought Coach Gibson did a nice job of mixing different things up. We played different drop 8 coverages. We rushed 4, we rushed 5, we rushed 6. The goal line stand for the third time this season, I think this shows the resiliency and toughness. And really the detail, it's not just being tough. I mean, they run a bootleg and both guys are completely covered in the route, and Levi does a phenomenal job tackling the quarterback in space on a boot. But the 3 takeaways and the one in the red zone by Peyton, our first interception of the game, was a big momentum play. We only gave up 3 explosive plays, none in the pass game, which is really hard to do in college football right now. The 2 of the explosive runs were quarterback keeps that shouldn't have been there. It was poor job discipline-wise by 2 of our players on those 2 runs. We had a blitz on one, and Tanner just chased the ball instead of playing technique. And the other one, CJ Hart didn't do his job. So things that are correctable. Obviously losing a third player and on the season and targeting is coaching. We got to do a better job. Our players got to understand the strike zone. They got to play with their eyes up. They got to understand they can't launch. They can't lead with the crowd of their helmet. It has to get fixed, and that's something that we will get fixed. It's obviously something that they're doing to protect football players. I thought the defensive penalty on Peyton was immature on his part on the sideline, and that hurt us. So these are things that we got to correct. Our special teams were kind of mixed in this game. There's some really bad and some really good. Obviously, you can't give up a blocked punt for a touchdown and have 4 penalties on special teams. Those things are atrocious. But we responded. We had some good kickoff returns. We had a blocked punt for a touchdown. I thought our kickoff coverage was outstanding. I think Chris Dunn made a clutch field goal at the end of the game to make it a 2-score game. So there's some good things. There's good effort. There's got to be better execution. And I just think the guys are buying into preparing. They're practicing with an edge. They're seeing the results of their effort. And now we get to play a really good crosstown game that's been going on since 1894. And I know it's a game that means a lot to both schools, fan bases, boosters, and football clubs and teams and coaching staff. So it's going to be a hard-fought game. They're a very well-coached veteran team with a lot of skill, a lot of team speed. And obviously they're coming off a tough loss, but one in which I think they played really well in the second half. Really a tale of 2 halves for them down there. But they're 3-1, as you guys know. They're an explosive offense. Receivers do a nice job. They've got a blend of size and speed, and Sam's a tremendous quarterback. Their 2 tailbacks are really good players, different from each other, both explosive, both good in the run and the pass game. And they don't turn the ball over a lot. They've got a big offensive line. Tight end, Walston's a good player. So, it's going to be a good football game. It's a great opportunity to play against a really good offense. Defensively, they lost some good defensive linemen last year. They look improved in the secondary to me. I think their linebackers are the same kids, and Surratt and Gimmel do a great job. They're active. They blitz a lot. They give you a lot of different presentation on defense. They're in both odd and even fronts. They play cover 2, they'll play cover 3, they'll play cover 1, and they're bringing different pressures from all over the place, similar to what we saw in some of the snaps with Virginia. But they press you up on the outside. They got big corners that are physical, and it's going to be a great challenge, great opportunity, and look forward to playing them as we do every year. So, a chance to play against a top 20 team on the road again, and a chance for our team to overcome some things injury-wise and really go up there and fight against a veteran team. So any questions?
Brett Friedlander.
Dave, back during preseason camp, you talked about how because of the COVID pandemic, you had to prepare more players because you just never knew who was going to be available. How much did that, or has that contributed to the next up situation that you mentioned earlier, and having guys come in and play at the level that they have in reserve?
Oh, I think that attributed. I think our practices, the way they were set up early on, before we had to stop everything, we were getting 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s reps because we just didn't know what could happen at that time. We were kind of early in the process, and then we had the stoppage. And when we restarted practice, there was only 45 guys, and some of those were our 3s and 4s. 1s and 2s weren't even at practice. And so we've really repped everybody in a different way. And we've cross-trained guys, as you know, at different positions in case things happen, and you're seeing that pay off. Icky played guard, now he's playing tackle. Spees has played guard and tackle. Dylan McMahon's played center and guard. Like all those things we did in training camp are now paying off. Same thing at safety. Devin Boykin has played both safety spots. Isaac Duffy Webb has played nickel and strong safety. So we're having to do that. You see Cecil Powell playing corner and dime and nickel. So there's guys that are going to have to fill those spots and have been able to do that because of, I guess you'd say, the preventative measures we took. The unfortunate part of it is now it's not really the COVID that's playing us. It's some of the injuries at the same position group. We've just kind of had some piled up injuries on the O-line and in the secondary that are really testing our depth.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Aaron Beard.
Dave, how's Bailey maybe advanced since he got the starts earlier this year? And obviously you saw him get reps now, compared to last year. You've already seen some of that. So how has he made some gains, you think, maybe even since the first couple starts?
Well, I think he knows our offense. I think he's in a different position as a teammate. I've said this earlier. I thought when you transfer in as a QB or as anybody really, you're not a part of a recruiting class. You're kind of your own lone soldier, and you're trying to win a job at the same time. And so it's hard to get to know your teammates the same way that you do in year two. And so I think he's more comfortable here. I think he's got a good circle of people. He can just be himself, I think he understands what his role was, and it was a very positive teammate, very energetic around his friends and teammates, and now it's just taking advantage of an opportunity. I don't think he'll tell you that he thought he played well yesterday or when it's Saturday, did some good things, did some things that he could do better, and now just pouring all that energy into it. And we got to get Ben and Ty ready too, because they're a play away from being in the game. So we've got to get some reps into those guys here with our offense and make sure all three of them are ready to play.
Jonas.
Coach, to kind of follow up on Aaron's question, and you kind of segue to it, saying about getting Ben and Ty ready. Obviously, Ben was a early enrollee. So what do you like about him that he was able to jump Ty and to be that? Now he's a number 2 guy.
They were pretty much in the same category. Ty had an injury that kept him out for a long time that allowed Ben to get reps and just gain more knowledge and timing with the offense. So that's kind of where that went. Ben's just got more reps right now. But, the thing you like about Ben, he's very smart. He has great spatial awareness. He sees things really well, gets the ball out quick. He can run. I think that's the one thing that separates him from any of those guys. He can really run. He's a good athlete. So, and was hoping we wouldn't end up in that scenario where he has to play, because you want to get the year in the weight room, I guess you would say, for a freshman quarterback. But, at this point, like I said, him and Ty have got to be ready to go out there and help us. And I know they'll put their time in.
Gibby.
Yeah, Coach, when Bailey started the first couple of games of the season, he always knew Devin was there and already he was coming. Now it's not the point. It's going to be him. Can that maybe help him down the road, that maybe he lets a mistake go and doesn't dwell on it more now that he knows that he's got to be the guy?
Yeah, he's just got to play confident football. He's got to run the system. He's got to quit worrying about things that could happen if he doesn't play the way he's supposed to play. He's just got to go play football and let it all go. And I think, for him, it's just a one play at a time. Thought he played really good against Wake Forest, and so we just need him to get back to that. I know he'll prepare the right way, and, it's his time. And so it's a matter of him taking advantage of the opportunity. And that's what I tell the players all the time. You're going to have an opportunity at some point. It's on you to be ready. And so now it's his opportunity to go show, himself and everyone out there what kind of player he can be. And he doesn't have to go be Superman. He just needs to run the offense. That's it.
What did you see him yesterday? I assume you guys practiced a little bit yesterday. What did you see in him? Maybe the confidence? Did you see a different guy knowing what he's facing now?
No, I mean, he's not going to all of a sudden change who he is. I think he's excited, but he's got to put the work in. I think that's what you see. You see he's just sitting down learning what we see. What are the things that we're going to do? I mean, this point of the week's pretty cerebral at that position. We don't practice till tomorrow. So yesterday was a lot of film, a lot of talk. They went out and walked through some things. But tomorrow will be the first day that we really get in there and start cranking up the game plan with them.
Thanks, Coach.
Andrew.
You're welcome.
Dave, obviously the last start for Bailey against Virginia Tech didn't go the way he wanted, but it seems like, too, in the weeks since then, you guys have made a ton of improvements on the defensive side of the ball. Do you think the defense playing the way they have and doing what they do and getting stops and making plays and kind of controlling games a little bit better can help Bailey and the other quarterbacks by putting them in better situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a team game, and when you're playing complementary football offensively, there's less pressure. You don't have to go out there and score a touchdown every possession to feel like you're going to win, and as long as every offensive possession ends with a kick, we should be in the game if we play good defense and good special teams. And, I think we're doing that now. Defensive front is playing a lot better. Our linebackers, as you know, are making a ton of plays. And the secondary has kept things in front of them, And if we play like that and keep getting the dog bone out on the sideline every now and then good things are going to happen for whoever that quarterback is because they're going to have field position and momentum.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, the newlywed, Jared.
Dave, we've seen you as a very emotionally even keel guy in victory. And a couple of the last times when you were over at Keenan Memorial, you were very excited leaving the field. Just curious as to those 3 victories at those particular points in your career, what they meant to you, because they obviously seemed like they meant a lot to you at the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know how big this game is to NC State, former players, boosters, alums, all those things. And so, I take a lot of pride in being able to deliver that to our fan base. And I lost to them in year 1. So the first win over there was Jacoby Brissett had a heck of a game, so it was great to get a win, my first win over them there. And I probably can't do this in the proper order, but one of the wins over there probably saved my job, And it was coming out of it was the year we missed a field goal against Clemson, kind of went on a skid. And then all of a sudden we finished strong, and that one got us in a bowl game. And, so that was an emotional win. But they're all, anytime you play a rival, it's been going back since 1894. Anytime you play a game like this and you win it, whether it's home or away, it's emotional. Unfortunately, one of them was kind of ruined because we had a fight afterwards and felt like we were dealing with all that crap at the end of the game instead of the win. But, I think this football team and their football team, this coaching staff, their coaching staff, it's about the kids, and these guys work so hard. And when you go in the locker room after an emotional win on either side, you're going to feel that, and you can't just play it off. I mean, it means a lot to you.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking out the time. We spoke to Coach Mac Brown this morning, and I think he mentioned something about it being 27 years since these two teams have met, with them both being ranked. Annabelle, you can correct me on that if I'm wrong with that information, but he said it was a testament to how much high school football has developed in this entire state of North Carolina. I'm curious to know, from your perspective, since you arrived, how have you seen the talent pool and the level of play on the high school level grow here in North Carolina, and how it's helped you guys with your recruiting?
Yeah, I would agree with Mac on that. I think that and some of this goes to the high school coaches association. They've allowed them to develop the players better, in my opinion. They're doing more on-field things, and obviously not now with COVID, but the last 3 or 4 years, they've been able to do more football. They used to have this rule where they can only have 21 players at a practice at a time in the spring. And now they've changed that so they can have a true spring practice, where they're getting their teams out on the field and developing them. The weight room programs are obviously better. And some of these kids are investing more in the sport. You see them going to trainers and doing extra things from a strength and conditioning standpoint. We all know that Raleigh and Charlotte are fast-growing cities as well, so your population increase means there's more talent from that standpoint. But I do think it's not only helped us, but, all the teams in the state. There's a lot of good football teams in our state, not just in the ACC, and you're seeing that, I think, statewide.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Jonas.
Coach, you kind of brought it up earlier about the takeaway bone and you guys getting interceptions in the last couple of games. Obviously, the prop gets them a little more energy and they want to get more takeaways, but what else is there to it that these guys are getting their hands on more interceptions and more fumbles this year as compared to last year?
Well, 2 games ago, it was the line of scrimmage tipping the football twice. So tips, we say tips are picks. I think C.J. Clark got his hands on a ball. I can't remember who the other one was. We had 2 tips. And then in this game, one of the picks, Drake Thomas got to the quarterback and forced a bad throw, and Peyton got under it. The other one, Peyton just broke on it. Quarterback didn't see him. And I think there's just a mixture. When you're talking about interceptions, there's a lot of things that go into them. It's not just a DB or a linebacker making a play. Sometimes you have pass rush. Sometimes you confuse the quarterback with coverage. So they all kind of tie together, and sometimes it's just a big-time play that's made. And all those things are kind of happening right now. So, I think defensively, I think we are playing faster than we did last year. If you just watch the speed that's being played with, guys are running around. We're blitzing with a blitz mentality. I didn't think we were doing that earlier in the year. I felt like we were kind of oozing off the ball in some of our pressures. I feel like the guys are hitting it more sudden, which from a quarterback standpoint gives you less time to throw. And Tony's done a nice job of changing things up. There's not just one coverage you're looking at. There's quite a few different pictures for that quarterback to have to look at and figure out.
And you mentioned guys playing faster. It doesn't matter of them just thinking less and just knowing what to do, being a year older and just being able to make plays. Yeah,
I think there's several things in there. I think Tony should get some of the credit. I think he simplified things for him. We're not checking and doing a bunch of things at the line of scrimmage. We used to check a lot on defense, and there's a few things we have to say here and there, but we're playing ball. We're talking more about what the offense is doing and less about what we're doing. Here's how you line up. Now let's look at their stances. Let's look at the back set. Let's look at the tight end location. Let's look at the receiver splits. What's the down and distance? We're playing football as opposed to having to memorize a million things. And I think that's really freed them up. And second thing is just our front. I feel like the guys up front, our rotation that we have in there, there's not as much of a drop off between our 1s and 2s on the D line. And so as we rotate, C.J. Clark and Aleem are both playing really at a high level at nose tackle right now. The defensive end position, I think Conte and Savion have gotten a lot better as the season's gone on. And then Daniel Joseph comes in and gives us something, and that helps when you can rotate guys like that. And as long as we can continue to keep them fresh. I think we had a problem at linebacker a couple weeks ago when we couldn't rotate. Coach Gibson didn't feel as good about the rotation, and now those kids have earned playing time. You see Jalen Scott come in, maybe only takes 15 snaps off of Isaiah, but that helps Isaiah play faster. Levi Jones comes in and takes a few snaps off of Drake, right? And now all of a sudden Drake can play faster, C.J. Hart. So that depth is important. When you're playing these tempo offenses that run 80 to 100 plays on you, you got to be able to get some fresh legs in there.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Vashti.
Hi, Coach. Like JB, we were just talking to Mac Brown a little while ago, and he said that he felt like his team was overrated and that the Wolfpack were underrated. I just wanted to know your philosophy on ratings and then how you felt about him saying that you guys are underrated as a team.
Yeah. It's nice of him to say that. I don't really look at it like that. Every week we got to prove ourselves. whether they pick us to win or don't pick us to win, whether it's no spread or we're underdogs, we got to show up. And none of these rankings matter until the end of the season. So it doesn't matter where we're rated right now. That didn't matter last week, didn't matter the week before. It won't matter until we play our last game. And so, you know, I think his team played really bad in the first half and played really, really good in the second half. You know, and I'm sure he's saying he wants that team to be the team that plays every game. That team is a really good team for UNC, that second half team. And they've been really good all year. So he's got a very good football team. He's got a veteran football team. He's got a lot of speed on his football team. I think he's poor mouthing that group a little bit right there. I think they're a really good football team.
Charlie Mickens.
Good afternoon, Dave. I know sometimes Bailey Hartman likes to get outside the pocket and run sometimes. Do you worry that do you curtail him on running now that he's the guy now? Do you worry about that? And because he could be one play away.
No, I think he needs to play the offense. I think he needs to stay in the pocket when he has good protection. He took a sack the other night and had no business running out of the pocket. And he had great protection. He could have stood there for 10 minutes, and he runs out and gets himself sacked. So, you know, he needs to trust the protection when it's there and give his receivers time to get open. If things break down, he needs to use his feet because he can run. But I think, you know, running to run and running when you need to run are two different things. And, you know, understanding that you have time in certain rushes and knowing your protection rules and trusting the guys are going to take care of you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sammy Batten.
Yeah, Dave, obviously from a statistical standpoint, Peyton had a great game Saturday. But after watching the film, did you see other things in there that made that kind of a special performance outside the numbers?
Well, he's just playing so hard, you know. I mean, I think his effort, he's finally back in shape. You know, I think when he had to take that 2 weeks off for the quarantining, that set him back conditioning-wise. But it's more just the all-around, you know. He's starting to play with his hands better. He was just running into things when the season started. He's separating from blocks and staying playable, as we call it. He's blitzing better. He's not just, again, running into things. He's trying to slither through some things, then run through some things. You know, his run fits were really good. His tackling was good other than the one screen. He missed a tackle on their one touchdown down there. But, you know, I think as he continues to get in game shape, which he's probably in really good game shape now, he's going to continue to make more and more plays. Because one thing about Peyton, man, he plays as hard as he can play every snap. And that is visible, you know, and I really respect that about him, just the effort that he plays with. And now it's just about, you know, similar to how Bradley Chubb was here. Sometimes his aggression gets the best of him, you know, and he's got to really learn how to channel that and use it every play the right way.
Mark Armstrong.
I'm glad you brought up Peyton Wilson. He was obviously once committed to Carolina, but they said the culture at NC State was more for him. How do you define this rivalry? Is it the relative culture of the two schools? What kind of characterizes this rivalry?
You know, I don't know exactly what their culture is, so I don't want to speak on something I don't understand. I mean, I know what our culture is blue collar. You know, I've said it many times. I came to NC State because I felt like I fit in. You know, it's a bunch of people that work hard, that like to have a good time together. Very intelligent people, but very hardworking people. And, you know, the blue collar, hands in your dirt program, and that's what we're all about here. And, you know, if you look at our fan base, they support every sport. They don't just support football, and I love that about them. You can go to a wrestling match and it's sold out. You know, you can go to women's basketball and it's sold out. You come to football, it's sold out. You go to men's basketball, it's sold out. So they don't just support football, they support student athletes. And I think that makes our fans very special. And, you know, that's what we're all about here. And, you know, I think their school probably has their definitions of what they're all about.
Thank you.
Yep.
Last question, Brett Friedlander.
Yeah, Dave, what kind of relationship do you have with Mac, and how much contact and you know, interaction did you have with him when he was with ESPN and he did any of your games?
Not much. I've known Mac a long time. When I was at Kansas, he was the head coach at Texas, and I recruited Texas and would run into him time and time, competed against him. He was always, a great mentor in the business to a lot of young coaches. And he's a first-class guy. I think when I came here, he congratulated me when he was with ESPN. Now that we're on the other side of things, competing against each other, we're not talking obviously the same way as we used to, but I do know that there's respect from both sides, and he's done a great job since he's come back. And obviously the last time he was there, he did a great job as well.
Thanks. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a
Thanks,
great
Annabelle.
day.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Annabelle.
Thank you.